Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to the studio. In today's video we're going to listen to a helicopter fly overhead, and then we're going to take a look at this guy. This is going to be the Kolani from Harder and Steenbeck. Now this is on loan to me by one of my members and friends, Mr. Leon, so definitely leave a thank you Mr. Leon down below just to show him some love, because this is not something I probably would have picked up for myself, but he was really wanting this and he was kind enough to send it over so that I could show you guys on my channel what this looks like, because this is not your average airbrush. This is also not your average airbrush price, because this is going to be going for about $360 plus shipping. If you do want something like this, I will leave a link down below to the USA site. It's kind of weird to navigate, but I'll leave a link down there to be able to check out any of the Harder Steenbeck product and order prices if you have them. Also stay tuned, because I do also have an Infinity CR Plus with extras that I ended up getting, and he was kind enough to send that to me as well as a gift. Like, I was super shocked about that. But anyway, this video isn't about that. So without further ado, let's jump down the table. I will give you some background on Harder and Steenbeck and the Kolani, and then we'll take a look at it, and then we'll plug it in and we'll test on some paper towels. For all those people that say, Dave doesn't paint, he doesn't do anything with paint, let's prove you wrong. Here is our nice and shiny packaging of the Kolani. Now let's go through some background here real quick. Harder and Steenbeck was founded during the fall of 1923 by two engineers, August Harder and William Steenbeck, in Hamburg, Germany. In the beginning, capacitors, resonant circuit coils, other electrical components were made for the radio manufacturing industry. Later, Mr. Steenbeck separated the enterprise from Mr. Harder and managed the company alone, producing many spare parts in the automobile industry. During the Second World War, ship sonar components were produced. After the end of the war, Mr. Harder began to produce airbrushes, spraying equipment. Some were based on old models, some were their own new designs. The first spray gun produced was the Prima, after that the Console, and later the Ultra Airbrush. All these products were renowned for their durability, robustness, and valued by all those who use them, including graphic designers, retouchers, artists, porcelain industry, and especially the doll and toy manufacturers in southern Germany. In addition, a wide variety of parts and equipment for the spray gun industry and compressed air products were produced, covering many applications. After the death of Mr. Harder Sr. in 1975, Mr. Hans Harder, son of August Harder, took over the company. Harder and Steenbeck continued in the footsteps of the founder until 1992. In 1992, the company was sold and then moved to Ostenbeck in the eastern outskirts of Hamburg. In 1995, the precision engineer Jens Matheson joined the company as a partner. New product lines were introduced in 1996 with the production of the legendary Grapho, the Kolani. The development continued further into the evolution. Great attention was always paid to the quality and fine craftsmanship, lasting value of the product's image. In year 2000, Harder and Steenbeck acquired the airbrush section of Hansa Technik, located in Norderstedt, Germany. Since 2004, Jens Matheson is the sole proprietor of Harder Steenbeck and managing director of Hansa World Airbrush Marketing Sales Company. Today, the companies Harder and Steenbeck and Hansa World Airbrush export their products worldwide. Their airbrushes are known for superior precision instruments. The year 2007 marks the introduction of a new line of airbrushes, the Infinity. The airbrush with an eye-catching design, many new functions, is setting new standards in the world of airbrushing. In 2007, the company also makes its official debut on the American market of the National Art Material Trade Association show in Chicago. The Kolani is a multifunctional product of over 50 years experience in the production of paint sprayers. This distinctive design from Luigi Kolani gives the instrument adaptable ergonomic characteristics, which enable its universal use for both beginners and professionals. Comprehensive accessories and nozzle sizes from a 0.2 to a 1.2 make the Kolani particularly flexible in applications ranging from fine retouching to large surface painting. The dependent double function enables particularly fine work. Alright, so without further ado, we've got all that stuff out of the way. Let's take a look at what comes in the box. The box is actually fairly simple. You've just got some info over here. Now this is the 0.4 millimeter with the 15 milliliter cup, and the cup is freaking huge. And of course this is made in Germany. If I can remember to, I will put a link down below to Harder and Steenbeck. They had a video of the production of just their airbrushes in general, and it is really fascinating to watch because I believe they make all their parts in-house. On the other side, same thing as the first side, Kolani high quality airbrush. Sliding it open, you get a plastic hard case for everything to fit into and 2 tabs here on the front to open it up. Here you get a shot of the airbrush, 2 adapter rings, the cup, and the tool, and get you guys a little bit better look here. Now, if you've watched some of my streams, I did kind of show this off earlier, and I'm already going to give you some feedback on this. One of the things that I would probably suggest is going to be there's seams on here. There's seams across here. There's seams across the back here and across this edge. I would take the back of your hobby file or a sanding paper or something like that and clean these up because they are really rough. I was highly surprised that they even manufactured something of this price point with this kind of quality. Like you can literally see the rib from the mold line that's in there. So before I end up sending this back to Leon, I am going to end up cleaning this up. Now, some things to note, this back handle is completely pivotable. So if you end up holding your spray gun more of this angle, you can adapt it to so. If you have a bigger hand like I do, this part slides off and you can put adapter rings to make this sit back a little bit further so that it is more comfortable. Now you do have this ball on here and you do have that same seam line that's on here. I would probably remove that as well. This is considered a double action, but it doesn't work in the same manner as your regular double action. There's a pin in here that you can end up adjusting, and you can adjust your tension spring by pulling off the handle down here. If you adjust this little pin that's in here, that is how you're going to get, so you have more air. This is probably your maximum air when you end up hitting this stock out of the box, and then as you pull back, you're going to let more paint flow. One nice thing that's about this is your paint section right here. You don't have to tear apart your whole airbrush and go through all of that if you end up getting it all gunked up. Your cup sits right here. You have this section right here, and you have your tip right here. If you move this pin more forward toward the front, that means you're going to be able to adjust less airflow and start getting more paint if you're doing really fine or really light work. Now, before I end up going any further, let me tell you, I am not an expert in this airbrush. I'm not an expert in airbrushing at all. I do know quality. I do know what I like. I do like this. I can see how this can be ergonomic. I would most definitely clean up that seam line because it sits right there where your finger pad ends up sitting, and it is highly irritating. So I would end up kind of sanding that down and rounding that out. Now, if you're doing small little touch-ups, you don't even need to put the cup on there. You can leave it like this, put in a couple drops, and then go to town. Now, putting the cup on here, I would suggest, as with any cup, one, you don't need to like cinch it down. This is a fingerprint magnet though. This cup is freaking huge. It holds 15 milliliters of paint. Like, you could paint a whole damn kit in this. If you're wanting to get really close, you can remove that very end tip and get in like super close. But with something like this, I don't see a need for not having that. We're not going to be getting that close to the surface. Now, your tool that's on here, this is for adjusting the spring. This is for adjusting this rod down here. Do not lose this. I mean, you can use other things on there, but don't lose it. Now, one nice thing that is about this, it automatically comes with a quick connect. So easy peasy. We can hear it's got air. We're just going to lay down some paper towels on here. Now in here right now, I have some carbon black Liquitex acrylic ink. So this should make it super simple to clean out and everything. I don't want to go through a whole mess of cleaning this up. As you can see, we can get some very, very fine lines on here. And this is going to take a little getting used to if you're used to a normal double action airbrush. It is definitely going to take a little getting used to. Now keep in mind, this is what, a 0.4 tip on here, but we can get super fine lines. or you can get really big and wide. So super fine. Or heavier. And I actually have the air pressure turned up probably more than I should. And that's it. And it's going to be just as easy to clean up. Since I'm just using ink, so we're going to use just some alcohol through there to clean it all out. But if you're one that does a lot of work and you're wanting something that's ergonomic, this could very well be for you. This isn't for everybody, and this is not for everybody's price point. This is definitely going to set you back a pretty penny, coming in at around $360. All right, one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick before we end up closing out this video is I got everything all cleaned back up. Super easy to clean. Just ran some alcohol through here, cleaned that all out. Is the section over here. So I actually ended up just using the backside of a hobby knife and cleaning up the lip that was on here, some sandpaper to round this out, and the edge of the hobby knife just to take off those edges here, here, and here. I would probably suggest if you end up getting that, you're going to have to do the same. Otherwise, it's just going to be irritating as hell. But ultimately, this thing is freaking awesome. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that. It was my pleasure to be able to show it to you. I'm not going to break it in by painting something big yet because it is not mine, but definitely stay tuned. I do have an Infinity, brand new and shiny in the box, that I'm going to show you, and then we're going to paint some stuff with it a little bit later on. Thank you for stopping in. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Definitely leave a like for Leon down below, and for sending this over for us to take a look at. And I'm going to get this boxed up and shipped out to you this week, dude. As usual, guys, love each and every one of you. Peace.